All right. Hey, everyone. We're on this topic again. And I have my little friend here with me. She's sleeping. I should be asleep too. I should be asleep, but I just wanted to get in this last video on this topic for a while. Um, and I just want to just go over two main things. That's it. That's all I want to do. This is going to be a relatively short video, but we got to talk about this topic one more time. One more time for the people in the back who can't hear. Hey, the Empress. Hey, girl. Hey, the Empress. Okay, so let's talk about whether or not the first people. Now, we are talking about the native people. We are talking about the indigenous people. We are talking about the very first people to be in Egypt, the very first people to inhabit Egypt, the very first people to build civilization in what is today modern Egypt. Now, we're talking about the very first people. We're not talking about the people now. We're not talking about the colonizers. We're not talking about the invaders. We're not talking about migrants. We're not talking about immigrants. We are talking about the very first people to inhabit Egypt. Hey, FMG Tank. Hey. Okay, now let me read to you a comment that I've been making on a lot of negative comments I've been getting on my videos. Now, I say here that ancient Black Nubia existed before ancient Egypt. The Nubians were the first to build their empire in what is today modern Egypt. Okay? That is a fact. That is not made up. That is a simple proven fact that the oldest monarchy ever recorded is ancient Nubia. Now, Nubia was an undeniably Black civilization. Black, 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 black. Like super black. Okay? And the Nubians were the first people to ever inhabit Egypt, and they were the first people to ever build an empire, build a kingdom in Egypt. It's been recorded. Okay, now to back up this argument, I'm going to read and I'm going to post it in the chat right now for anybody who's interested. So, everybody who's here right now, hey, there it is. There's the article. I just put it in the chat for everyone. Okay. The article is by the New York Times, a very, very credible source. Okay, it's in the New York Times article because in the archives, because they've proven this fact a long time ago. Okay, and I'll just read to you just a little bit from this article. It says, ancient Nubian artifacts yield evidence of earliest monarchy. Okay. So, evidence of the oldest recognizable monarchy in human history preceding the rise of the earliest Egyptian kings by several generations has been discovered in artifacts from ancient Nubia in Africa. Until now, it has been assumed that at that time, the ancient Nubian culture, which existed in what is now northern Sudan and southern Egypt, had not advanced beyond a collection of scattered tribal clans and chiefdoms. The existence of rule by kings indicates a more advanced form of political organization in which many chiefdoms are united under a more powerful and wealthier ruler. The discovery is expected to stimulate a new appraisal of the origins of civilization in Africa, raising the question of to what extent later Egyptian culture may have derived its advanced political structure from the Nubians. I'll read that again. To what extent did later Egyptian culture derive its advanced political structure from the Nubians? Ancient Egypt got its advanced political structure from Black ancient Nubia. Egypt, this is a New York Times article. I put it in the chat already for anyone who doesn't believe what I'm saying. Anyone who wants to argue and does not believe what I'm saying, I put the article in the live chat. And yes, you can access the live chat even after you watch this video, after I have finished streaming. Okay. ancient Egypt derived its advanced political structure from the Black Nubians. The various symbols of Nubian royalty that have been found are the same as those associated in later times with Egyptian kings. Egypt got everything from Black Nubia. It got its symbolism. It got its structure of ruling. It got its architecture, its knowledge from Black ancient Nubia. Ancient Egypt also got its very first pharaohs from Nubia, from Upper Egypt. Okay? So if there's any question about who the native Egyptian people were, who were the very first? So in what is today modern day Egypt, the Nubians were the very first people to build their civilization in what is today modern Egypt. You can still see the remnants of ancient Nubian civilization if you go to Aswan, which is in Egypt. It's in Upper Egypt, which is Southern Egypt, in our geographical construct, our understanding of geography. It's in Southern Egypt, but they call it Upper Egypt because the Nile starts in the south of Africa, in Uganda. And the Nile flows from the south into the north, which is Lower Egypt, which is where most of the non-Black people live today who live in Egypt. Okay? So, what else? So it says here, the new findings suggest that the ancient Nubians may have reached this stage of political development as long as 3,300 BC, several generations before the earliest documented Egyptian king. This discovery is based on a study of artifacts from ancient tombs excavated 15 years ago and an international effort to rescue archaeological deposits before the rising waters of the Aswan Dam covered them. Yes, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I left the article in the chat so anybody can go and read this article. It's right here. You can leave it again. Okay. For everybody, anybody. I miss my dog here. Oh. Okay. So another thing I'd like to say is somebody left a really interesting comment on my video I did recently entitled Afrocentrist on Ancient Egypt. I will read the comment and you can make of it what you may. Okay, so this username, Ethereal Unova Fly Girl, Ethereal Unova Fly Girl, I think that's her username. She left this comment about 2 hours ago. She says, I mentioned on one of your previous videos that I am Egyptian myself and I live in Cairo, although you took it the wrong way. I feel as though white Americans are obsessed with claiming our history. We know that ancient Nubia is older than ancient Egypt. We also know that our ancestors have a lot in common with the Ethiopians, who, the indigenous ones, are Black. Most of us know that our earlier ancestors were a Black race who mixed with invaders. The Egyptians who didn't mix fled lower to West Africa when Islamic faith took over North Africa. However, the reason why some of our people don't want to acknowledge it is because it will bring the acceptance that some of us today might not be native to Egypt. I guess it's pride. Being an Egyptian, we have a lot to be proud of, but some of us also refuse to acknowledge that our first ancestors were a dark race who built our pyramids and made a lot of our achievements. I also noticed that many white Americans come on videos like this and comment something weird like we was kings. However, they do not know more about my history than me. And I left a reply and I said, I really appreciate this comment. Thank you. Okay, she hasn't replied back, but I thought that was very interesting and very telling. Not everyone is in denial. Not everyone is in denial. So, um, okay, so FMG, she's talking about a group of trolls on the internet who troll black people who like to acknowledge that the native indigenous people of all African countries are black. And they come on and they write that because they think they are making fun of black people, but what they're really doing is just revealing who they really are, just uneducated people who are in denial. But anyway, yeah. So I'm finished. I'm done with this, and I'm gonna try to focus on some other topics for a little bit. If I ever have to come back, I'll probably will come back to this topic. But I just wanted to give proof, you know. A lot of people they'll look at the proof and they're like, well, Nubia is not the same as Egypt. And another thing, so another really good point I saw someone bring up. I might try to look for the exact comment, but a user named Radio One, he left a comment on one of my videos and said that, you know, people love to claim that the ancient Egyptians are of Middle Eastern descent. They love to claim that. They're like, oh no, they came from Western Asia. They came from the Levant. They didn't come from Africa. They love to say that. And they don't realize that no pharaonic artifacts are found in the Middle East. None. Not nothing. Nothing. No type of ancient Egyptian pharaonic artifacts are found in the actual Middle East. When I say Middle East, I mean Western Asia. So, like the Arabian Peninsula, or where modern day Jordan, Israel is, Palestine, Lebanon, nothing is found there. I mean, this is where people claim that the Egyptians came from. They didn't come from there. The oldest artifacts, the oldest pharaonic artifacts are found in what is today southern Egypt and northern Sudan. They are found in Africa, deep in Africa. They are found in Sudan. They are found in southern Egypt. The earliest pharaonic temples, the earliest pharaonic artifacts, the earliest pharaonic ruins, they're all found in Africa. There are no type, there are no types of pharaonic artifacts found in what is the Middle East. Oh, someone said Dealing the Real said they will claim that ziggurat is the Middle East version of the pyramid. You know what? They can claim what they want. The pharaohs didn't come from ziggurat. The pharaohs came from where? The pharaohs came from southern Egypt and northern Sudan. They came from the Nubian Empire. The Nubian Empire was undeniably black. Narmer was the first person to go to Lower Egypt and unite the kingdoms. And he was black from Upper Egypt, from Nubia. Look him up. They didn't. I mean, like none of the pharaohs came from. None of the founding pharaohs, none of the indigenous first pharaohs came from the Middle East. Even though it's not like a real region, we'll just call it that because people know what I'm talking about. But it's really Western Asia. Okay. But yeah, I just had to bring that up. That was a brilliant point I saw someone make in my last video I made before. And I was like, that's such a good point. All of their pharaohs came from the south. which is Upper Egypt, which is black. If you even go there now, like even if you go to Aswan now, today, you're gonna look around and you're like, whoa, everybody has dreadlocks. Everybody has afros. Everybody's super dark. Super dark. And if you ask them, you're gonna be like, if you ask them, you say, what are you? They're gonna be like, we're black and we're African. We're African and we're black. But it's just like it's crazy. It's crazy. This African history is so rich that people try everything to steal it. Like they try to do everything to steal it. This is not foreign, like black people see this all the time. Rock and roll, they try to steal it. They steal it. They steal it. Jazz, blues, they steal it. Hip hop, they steal it. Everything. Our labor, our bodies, they steal. They stole our bodies from the continent of Africa itself. They stole us. They stole us. They steal everything. They steal everything. So what makes this any different, right? They will rape and rob Africa until like nothing is left but lies and illusion. Just don't believe the lies. Like stay grounded in the truth. Stay grounded in the truth. Just know that this is no different and they steal everything. Okay? All right. Well, I have to go. I have to go to sleep. It's late. So peace out. Know the truth. Make sure at least we know that our existence, that everything we create is so powerful that they try to steal everything. And then turn it around and tell us it's us that tries to steal when we are the original creators. All right. Good night.